Welcome back to the Upper Tier Podcast, the football podcast brought to you by the Dynamo Podcast Network on YouTube, on Spotify, on Anchor, on Podbean. Anywhere you pick up your podcast, you will find us. Head over there, hit a subscribe, and hit that bell notification button. Hit us with a like and a share as well. Support the podcast. This is your Liverpool versus Everton Merseyside derby match reaction. Liverpool 0, Everton 2. Lads, thanks for coming on. I know once again we keep on saying these shows are difficult to come on to. I'm lost for words. I don't really know where to begin. I don't think there's very little we could talk about that to give us any sort of hope, really. Dean Fitz, I'll start with you. Go ahead, give it to me.
No, we were texting at half time, Niall, and we had a chat last week, and you were saying about fans who were up in arms and saying that performances were embarrassing and all. I want you to go and say, I want you to say exactly how you feel first off the bat, because it's getting to the stage now where it's hard to defend. It's starting. I don't want to criticise. Right, I won't let you go first. I will go first. I don't want to get to the stage where, like, I love Liverpool to bits. I don't want to get to the stage where I'm overly criticising players and throwing people under the bus and all, but it's getting to the point now where we are going to have to start picking players out who we're going to have to point the finger at and say it's not good enough. I was hoping after the Leipzig game that players would kind of, right, 2-0 win. Leipzig aren't a bad team. Let's be honest, they're not a bad team. I know United walloped them 5-0 at Old Trafford and what have you and all, but they're not a bad side. I think there was a few lapses in concentration at the back from us. We were lucky not to concede. Let's be realistic, our 2 goals were gifted to us. We were saying before we went live, our 2 goals were gifted to us by mistakes. But a win is a win and a clean sheet is a clean sheet. And you're thinking to yourself, there's no bigger game for Liverpool than Everton or Man United. They're the 2 biggest games of the season, without doubt. All form goes out the window. And I was hoping that today all form would go out the window. Everton are a decent side this year, but they were missing players today. Allen didn't start. Calvert-Lewin didn't start. Like, Tom Davis was playing. Mason Holgate, they were playing. And I was looking at their starting team and I was saying to myself, right, well, we're missing Fabinho, Henderson starting in the middle. And I'm still thinking to myself, today is the day at Anfield, with or without fans, we're going to step up. We're going to show what we're about. Salah is going to do the business. Mane is going to run them ragged. It was dead. It was absolutely dead. I think it was the 40th minute before the first kind of chance of note, and it was probably a yard or 2 over. I'm running out of things to say regarding performances. The Thiago, I'm failing to see what Thiago is bringing to the team, if I'm honest. I know I'm only saying these things because if things were going well, you'd probably be saying, like, guys, one of the better players in the team. But let's be real, we're fucking shy at the moment. There's no hunger, there's no intensity, there's no passion. Just that desire is gone. You're thinking to yourself, is it really just because of injuries that we're this bad? Because I think there's more to it. We can't keep living off the whole thing of if Van Dijk was does anybody really, really genuinely think if Van Dijk walks back into that team tomorrow that things change? Because I don't. I don't.
Well, I think the team would get a certain lift.
Yeah,
but not the lift back to the performance of where we were, if you like.
Yeah, but to what degree though?
Yeah, but I think every word you can think of, slow, lethargic, a lack of desire. Yeah. You know what I mean? No passion, no fire. I mean, this is a Merseyside derby. I mean, if lads can't show up for this and understand, and remember, we've 2 Scouse lads in the team, Trent and Curtis. If those lads can't fire those lads up and make things happen and, turn around and grab Thiago by the scruff and says, this is really, really important to the people of this city, the fans around the world, this team. I mean, we had Chelsea today opened that door up nice and wide for us to slide back in. And again, we haven't got the balls 100%. To walk through the door. Mike, what was your take on the match?
Yeah, I was just very disappointed for the first 45 minutes. I mean, when they got the early goal after 3 minutes from Richarlison, it just stung us. It took the life out of us, and we just didn't seem to respond. And that's the thing about us. You know, we're playing a derby, as they said, and you're not going out there. We didn't want it as much as Everton wanted it. You know, they came out, you knew today Everton were going to start bullying us. They look more physical, and, you know, they had a plan. They set up the very same against Burnley, Brighton, same home games, and we got punished. And, like, we had most of the game to respond to get an equaliser, never came. Like, Manny headed over the post 3 or 4 times. He's right off since he got the COVID. He's not the same player. Salah looked very quiet today. And there was a lot of diving going on. 5 pound for the strikers. Towards the end, they were getting desperate. They were looking for penalties. I mean, that's not the Liverpool way. You know, it's kind of pathetic watching them now, you know. And, like, he never brought on Naby Keita today. I thought that might have been his chance to get back in the midfield. Maybe he might get back in now if Henderson's out. And maybe Fabinho might get back in there, might steady the midfield. But there's no balance to the team. The balance is completely off. There's gaps there. Kabak looked vulnerable as well today. Phillips had a good game when he came on. He had a good shot when he got the header. You know, he looked up for it. He looked like he wanted it. I actually think he should start in. Henderson should start in midfield. Henderson might have went down then with De Bruyne, you know, because he was doing so much at the back. He might have been able to slow down his game a small bit more. But again, it's just the same thing every week. It's soul destroying watching them come out and play like this. It's just, I'm sick of defending them. And there's only so much of listening to Klopp afterwards, feeling down and coming up with excuses, you know. The players are letting him down. He's not letting himself down. And they're just not good enough anymore. I think they're burnt out. Fatigue is still there, and I think it will be there till the end of the season, and we'll be very, very lucky to get Champions League. I can see us in the Europa League next year because West Ham, Leicester, Chelsea, they're all more consistent. And we're stuck on 40 points now with about 3 weeks, and we're just not getting off 40 points. And, you know, that's not enough to get you into the Champions League. I mean, United and City are miles ahead. They're going to be 20 points ahead of us soon if we don't pull our socks up. It's as simple as that. There's no more time for excuses. We need to go and play football and want to win.
I suppose the one piece of advice that we would give to Jurgen Klopp is don't make the mistake of squaring up to Duncan Ferguson in a tunnel because you will lose. No matter how passionate we are as Liverpool fans, Duncan Ferguson will put Jurgen Klopp on his back, no doubt about it. The Craig, give me your thoughts on it. I mean, I know it's tough.
Two of the lads, I think I kind of fully agree with them. You know, after the Leipzig game, obviously we had a chat, and it was not a bad word to say about the Leipzig game. That wasn't the team you were looking at that you thought would have had problems or had injury concerns or anything like it. We look fresh, we look sharp, we look good. They were woeful. They get the ball away, but as Dean rightfully said, a clean sheet is a clean sheet, and we got that, and a win is a win. We got 2 goals. We took advantage of the mistakes that they made. Going into today, I was fairly confident. I'm not going to lie. I know Everton have a good side and a good manager this time around, but I felt that was exactly the kind of injection we needed going into a derby. I thought we might have had a little bit extra about us today. A derby is a derby. It doesn't matter about form. It doesn't matter about who's in or who's out. You know, you want to be throwing a little bit extra in training going into a derby. You want to be on the pitch saying, I want to fucking play. And then who's your man? And you want to take him out of the game, you know. I didn't feel like we had anything today. Jurgen Klopp it seemed like he was very disappointed with a physical challenge on the byline, which I didn't get my head around. Like, that's the least you would expect. If I would be more concerned if someone wasn't putting a physical challenge in.
That's what we're missing.
From the goal, I don't think we had even got off the back foot in the first 3 minutes. The goal didn't obviously help. We didn't look like we wanted it today. We looked very basic, very nostalgic. It felt like a Carabao Cup game where they were just sitting off and we were passing it around nice and easy.
It was like a reserve squad, Craig.
It was very flat. And Everton wanted it more. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I have to be honest. Everton wanted it more today. The 5, as soon as they seen the formation, the 4-5-1, big physical lads in there, Doucouré, Andre Gomez, these lads aren't going to give you a minute. But that's where you have to go back with it. You know, would have been nice maybe to have a James Milner in there. Nice early strong tackle from the start. This is the tempo we're going to set. We're not going to lie down here. But today, I agree with Mike as well. Second half, we looked so desperate. Salah went down very easily. Holgate had Manny in his pocket, I think, today. You know, Manny was getting so frustrated, giving a bit of cheek to the referee. If I can take any positive, I'm not going to put Nat Phillips down at all today because I can't say a bad word about him. I can't. He came in and he looked, you know, like he wanted to be there. I don't see why he can't start the game. He was showing himself. He was following out. He was the only one, if I was to give anyone credit today, and I'm not going to put him down with the rest of the team's performance.
No, Phillips wants that. You can see when he's given the chance, he doesn't let the team down. He proves himself that he wants to be in the squad. He's, he works hard. He's rock solid back there. He should be given more game time.
Jump in there. Sorry, Niall, just step in there. We're talking about Nat Phillips. We know Kabak's only came. That's the second game, third game. Sorry, 2 league games and the Champions League game. He looks a liability at the back. Stupid, needless challenges. I'm not getting on his case. He's only there three games. He doesn't look tactically aware. He's not alert to what's around him. He should have been a bit more savvy for that Richarlison.
I thought he was ball watching for that goal.
Yeah,
to be honest, you look at the performance he put in against Leipzig, and then you look at the performance he put in today, and it's a completely different performance. Genuinely 100%.
He came out that challenge with the yellow card on Coleman. He'd no reason to be out there to make that challenge. And you're saying to yourself, like,
why is he there?
To know what we miss, we're missing it every game since Van Dijk and Gomez is out. Henderson should have been in the middle of the park today. He should have just went with Kabak and Phillips. Phillips came on straight away. He was a bit of an aerial threat. I'm trying to bleed head balls myself here. He was a bit of an aerial threat for ourselves. You've seen that with the free kick or the cross that came in, the header of the side post. But he can deal with things. He's not afraid. You know what I mean? He's thrown in at the deep end. But the only way you find out if these players are good enough is if they fucking play, like if they swim in the deep end. It's getting to the stage now where God knows how long Henderson's going to be out, but it's getting to the stage now where teams are just, no one fears us anymore. They're just walking through us in the middle. Then you've like a different centre half pair in every week. He should have, would have, could have. He should have went with Phillips and Kabak at the back today. But I wonder when he's going to throw Davis in. Do you know what I mean? He's a natural centre back. We're missing someone in the
Davis and Phillips, I think, in their 2 old school English.
Yeah, I thought today he should have took Kabak off at half time. The first half he was toxic in it. To be fair, I'm not going to say any player in the team today, the whole team was poor, but he should have took Kabak off at half time. He wasn't great. What really missing
though as well is Fabinho's presence in front of the back four is so undervalued. Not by us, but in general as an overview.
But if Jurgen doesn't look at today, it's fucking every game. But if he doesn't look at today and say, when Fabinho comes back, he's going into the middle of the fucking park. I'm blue in the fucking face saying this. Teams are walking through us in the middle of the park. It's getting to the stage where I am going to box someone in the fucking mouth because I'm just so angry watching Liverpool. But now
but he doesn't have the trust in them though. He doesn't have the trust in them though.
They don't have the trust in them. They don't have them in the fucking squad. Like, you're looking at the bench today. Divock Origi coming on. See, when he comes on, I swear to God, I just want to grab someone by the head and pull their teeth out of their face. I can't fucking understand for the life of me how Divock Origi is allowed to steal a fucking living at Liverpool. I'm looking at that bench today. You're chasing the game. You're looking for fresh ideas.
The same about security, no?
Who the fuck is...
When
Shaqiri comes on, he wants the ball. He gets the ball. He does it. He puts defenders under threat. Origi slows things down. He does absolutely fucking nothing when he comes on. Absolutely nothing when he comes on. And I'm saying to myself, why the fuck is Klopp even keeping him? Like, tell him you're not wanted here anymore. You're going. Give one of the young, because the way things are going now, it's a dog-eat-dog fucking battle for top four, right? He's not going to win us games, okay? Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, two horrible injuries. He's not going to fucking win us games. Shaqiri, out of the 3 of them, is the best option to get us fucking goals.
What we have is the best option.
So in that sense, then, do you think you bring Harvey Elliott back then? Bring him back from now then? Like, the lad is scoring that.
Why bring Harvey Elliott back and put that pressure on him? If he comes back in and things go wrong, leave him there. Leave him there.
Football.
So what do you do then? Do you get me?
We have
what you do, you fucking everyone, you grab everyone in, they all stick their fucking chest out. You play Fabinho in the middle of the park when he comes back, and you play 2 fucking centre halves and centre back. Don't have these players in your squad if you don't fucking trust them. I love Jurgen Klopp more than the next guy does, but come on, show your fucking managerial skills. Because Niall texts me at half time, Klopp on the sideline complaining about physical challenges. Yeah. Where's their fucking physicality? Where's their physicality? There's fucking nothing in the
It
team
took-
anymore.
It took
Teams
Nat
are
Phillips,
wrong
it
to
took
us.
Nat Phillips to come on to show our physicality, and the
But,
only
like,
reason he came on was because their centre mid, who's playing centre back, got injured. That's what
Exactly. But you look at Salah during the game. Salah was going on so easily. Like, the lad was going down on
We were
the easiest going
desperate.
challenges.
We were
Yeah,
down
but I get that.
nowhere.
But Craig, I've said this. I only discussed this with Niall last week's game. The amount has that going on so easy in the Premier League at the moment. It's fucking ridiculous. And Salah proved that today.
not
Mane, the
even-
same.
I'm not even going to get into the whole penalty fiasco because everybody outside of Liverpool is saying to themselves, these fucking idiots are going on about United and the penalties and Liverpool and talking about decisions and all. There's a fucking vendetta against us when it comes to that VAR. Every single
100% didn't agree with you.
Every single referee in the Premier League has an affiliation with Man United in some way, shape, or form. And I'd sit and I'd debate that with absolutely anybody. Every referee in that league is affiliated with Manchester United, some way, shape, or form. Any chance they get to go against Liverpool, it's not even fucking thought about. It's penalty. It's offside. They do not give a fuck about us. Who benefits most from Man United being anywhere near the top of the league?
Dean, I
Yeah,
apologise for
yeah,
cutting on you there, but
yeah.
look, at the end of the day, what was Trent supposed to do to say that fucking rat bag went to have that camera there, right? That VAR camera, what do you do? You don't
didn't
fuck
even look
on.
at it.
10 seconds.
Didn't look
10
at it.
seconds
Wasn't
the
even
camera
on.
ran
There
straight
wasn't
away.
even
The one caveat I would say about that, lads, okay, is one, if it happened up the other end, we'd want a penalty, and two, I don't think that decision and that penalty made a difference anyway, because if we were still playing,
No.
we
No,
still
that's
would have
fully agreed.
scored.
No, I agree with you, yeah.
There's no doubt
Everton
about
deserved to
it.
win.
Absolutely,
Everton fully
100%.
deserved it. Fully deserved.
As much as it hurts, hats off to them. What I would say, Dean, and we had the benefit by being in the stadium when we seen Nat Phillips play against Everton in the Carabao Cup, I think it was, and he was absolutely outstanding. Outstanding, you know what I mean? So I do think there is a lot of decisions there to be made in the squad. I think with Origi coming on, you know, it's not a great position to be in, but from his position as well, like he's the forgotten throwaway child, so it's hard to really care, you know what I mean? And it's like, if he's not getting any game time, it's hard to expect him to perform. The other thing that sort of compounds that is the fact that Minamino's down at Southampton banging in 3 and 5.
What a goal today.
Yeah,
like,
100%, yeah.
And the fact that we don't have Minamino on the bench and we didn't ship Origi off to Southampton.
But like, you look at Minamino there on the bench now, and we weren't playing him. And then you look at Regan, the lad comes on for 10 minutes and he can fuck on the bench.
Yeah.
Sorry for course, I'm sorry, like fucking try for any podcast, whatever, but like,
Wait,
We're all
Origi
grown
is fucking the shit.
I can't wait until when Jota is back though. You know Jota is back, because there's a lad who
Craig,
fucking will give 100% when he's back.
On that
If he
mark,
had
you
to.
need the rest of the team to be playing though. You need the rest of the team. You
I
need
know,
the rest
but
of
they
the
have
lads
to start
playing.
taking the responsibility. Look
The-
what Badshaw were in. They
the-
should be fucking dying for us, Derby or not.
Definitely. But the other two things that are a pet for me that I bring up all the time, I still can't understand why professional wingers, if you want to call them, or left and right backs, they still can't clear the first man with a ball. It's been happening all season, and again today, how many balls in didn't clear the first man. And when they do clear the first man, they're either balls that they're sailing in on the wind that people can just catch or pick up or get rid of, or they overfly the ball, or they're just hitting hopeful balls in there with no purpose or intent at all the way we used to. The other thing that I'm not liking either is, at one stage in the match today, Mane and Salah were both playing 1-2s to each other out on the wing. And I'm there going, that only leaves Bobby Firmino in the middle. So how are you going to pick a guy out to score? You're not having any of the midfield moving forward to try and support the front line. No one's going into the box. Every time there's a ball into the box, it's literally only Bobby there. And then you have Sadio picking it up afterwards. The other thing I'd say as well is, you really need to take a hard look at yourself. If Seamus Coleman is ghosting into the 6-yard box for a free header point blank at Alisson, you need to take a look at it. Robbo absolutely staring at him doing that today. It's absolutely shocking. It's unacceptable.
Look, and another thing on that as well is, what's up with short corners? Every game this season we play short corners. We don't fuck out ball then. We're literally playing short corners, and it's consistent every fucking game. What are we doing with it? We're doing nothing. It's gone back out.
Trent and Robbo, at the moment, I don't see any trust in themselves in getting a good
100% not then. I agree with
It's
you.
more,
100%.
it's more get to the byline, but they don't believe themselves when they're putting that ball in. I think where it's going or who it's going.
Bobby Firmino, like, I swear to God, I love him. Like, he's my favorite player. he needs a break. The longer he's left in this team, I know there's no one there to play instead of him. The longer he's left in this team, he's just becoming demoralised. The chap is having an absolute nightmare of a season.
Well, can I just add in on today's game there real quick once Ian has finished there?
Yeah. Go on.
At the end of the day, today's game, right, you can't blame any player on that pitch today, right? Every single player played tremendously. Apart from that, Phillips played phenomenally when he came on. Had a great game, right? But at the end of the day, every single player on that pitch today, we have to stop using the Hendo excuse. You have to stop using the Van Dijk excuse. You have to stop using the Gomez excuse. We played toxic today. Everything deserved that win, right? The second goal, maybe the penalty decision wasn't a penalty.
Regardless of that, we were
exactly played
well, you know.
But at the end of the day, we were shy.
I did think Trent had a better second half, and I do think Salah had a better second half. And I would put in a caveat there as well, that I thought Alisson was decent as well. That save from Coleman was absolutely world.
Yeah.
And this is from a guy whose confidence has been a little bit shaky. I mean, even they were talking about in the Leipzig game, he still wasn't that assured Alisson that we know with Chris Pass, and he was still, thinking everything through. So, hats off to him with that save as well. I know on the back of
you have to look at it.
Horrible, but,
Hendo had the best chance of the game. When you look at it through the whole game, Gini Wijnaldum had a great chance in the second half, but Henderson had a great chance in the first half. That was, 2 chances in the game. We had a chance to score. Salah played shy. Mane played shy. Firmino played shy, right? Yeah. At the end of the day, we did not play great today. There was a derby game. We expect all these lads to show up, right? And none of them showed up today. Matt Phillips came on in the 25th minute and played fucking phenomenally. He got that header in 2-3 minutes after coming on. Played great. At the end of the day, the rest of the players didn't show up. Alisson has confidence back, thank God. Hopefully, touch wood, stays on, right? But the rest of the players did not show up today. I would have liked to see Naby Keita on. Yeah, exactly.
Just to someone who can actually drive forward. Sorry. Someone who can drive forward with the ball, and I'll take it and fucking go with it. I'm not going to pass it left and right. I'll bring it fucking with me forward.
But playing one tail train Mane and Salah, what the fuck is that going to do? What's up the short corners? Right? And I keep saying, I came on Monday night and I slated Firmino, and Dean fits in agreement, understandably so, given that. But you look at today, right? And it wasn't only Firmino, it was the whole team. Apart from I'd give Nat Phillips credit for the way he played today. But you look at the rest of the team, should have put Naby Keita on there today, right? Origi is just horrendous. Origi needs to go, right? You look at me and Amino, as Niall said, popping in 3 goals of Southampton. Why the fuck do we let him go, right? You have Shaqiri coming on. At least he moves the ball around. He does well with it, right? Thiago looked lost in the middle of the pitch today. Genuinely lost.
I don't think Thiago, he's ready for our system, as in the puzzle isn't complete. As in, it's not the right time, I don't think, to play him now, as in, whereas everything was all good and rosy, I think he would benefit better. Whereas if we had a proper midfield and we had a proper centre, I think then... But at the moment, I think it's fucking criminal playing him and everyone's ripping him out of it,
At the end of the day, Craig, right, and this is what I want to put to the rest of you lads in here, right? With regards to Thiago, right, he's obviously going to become a centre part in that midfield when Alden leaves in June or July, whatever, maybe, if he does go to Barca, right? Who do you play then? And Jota is going to come into the squad, right? 100%. He's going to slot back into the first team squad. And then in regards to defence, Kabak is not ready. As Liam fits out of this night, Kabak is 100% ready. He played a great game against Leipzig, but he's not ready for the first team squad yet. So who do you play there? You obviously have to put Hendo back.
Well, I think you do. In fairness to Kabak, I think you do have to give him time. I mean, he's only there a couple of weeks.
He's only a child still as well.
Yeah, but not only that, you have to give him a chance, because the problem that we have at the moment is we don't have backup players. I mean, we don't.
But you eventually have to put Hendo and Firmino back, Fabinho back into midfield.
Well, we've been calling that. I've been calling that now for 6 or 8 weeks now. I mean, I've been calling for even Reece Williams and come back to play the back, to put Hendo and Fabinho back in midfield when we had them available and stuff like that, and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Mike, any more thoughts?
They need to get Stephen Davis a run at the team. He's 25. He's playing the championship, and he's used to the fast pace to the championship. So can we not see what he can bring to the team, what he's capable of? I mean, what do we sign him for if he's just going to be on the bench? I mean, Kabak has had his chance. Why can't Davis have his chance? Put Davis next to Phillips. That might be a good, solid, old school defensive partnership there between the two of them. They might be rock solid.
2 big lads as well. 2 big lads.
And maybe change the field up a bit. Put Fabinho and Kate in there next to Alden for a while. Give Thiago a break. Hopefully Jota comes in. They can give Firmino a break as well. So just change it a little bit and give it more balance. There's no balance at the moment.
Yeah. I think the one thing that I find disappointing about today, regardless of the result, because it's always a derby and we want to win and stuff like that, but it's, there's kind of a way to lose. And like if you go out there and you play your socks off and you get stuck in and you give 100% and you get beaten 3-2 or you get beaten 1-0, at least you can walk off that pitch saying you tried, you gave 100%. And look, yeah, we are missing players and, there isn't fans and VAR doesn't go away and all those other excuses that we use. But you can only kind of use those excuses if you can walk off the pitch and look at yourself in the dressing room and go, I gave 110% today. No matter what happened, I gave 110%. And
At the end of the day,
on our day, we were just beaten by a better team who wanted it more and bullied us off the park. But the problem with today is they're going out there, they're barely operating at 50%. And they're going in to have to look at themselves in the locker room now and go, here we go again. And this performance today is not dissimilar to any of the other performances we've had where we've dropped points against the West Broms, against the Brightons, against the Fulhams, against the Southamptons. It's the same slow, arrogant, lethargic, show up, play the ball around, no intent, lobbing balls in with no intent, not beating the first man, no penetration from midfield, Thiago not playing those balls into the channels to put the players through. We're just lacking it everywhere at the moment. And I know the last couple of weeks it's been coupled with the stuff with Alisson and stuff like that, but he looks a lot more solid again now, you know what I mean? But it's the same over and over and over again. And as Dean said earlier, why can't we see it and just put defenders in defence and put midfielders in midfield? And let's see what happens. And if we get beaten, what difference does it make? Because we're getting beaten anyway. So it doesn't take the risk.
Can I talk to Dane, Mike, and Craig there for just 1 second? Yeah, just sorry, in regards to right, we hadn't lost at Anfield right up until what recently, right? What do we change now going forward? Do you get me? What do you think? Like three is if your opinions on it.
I think Niall kind of summed it up really well there. Going forward, what's the worst that's going to happen if we put two actual fucking centre backs in centre back? It's not about who's that centre back today. That's not going to win us or lose us the game. We need our midfield back. We need the protection back. We need the high work rate back, and that gets going in the midfield. That's the engine room. We don't have that. As Dean Fitz said earlier on, lads are bleeding, breezing through the midfield like we're in the fucking third level of football.
It's like there's no one there. It's like men against kids. I'm not like I fucking hate slating my team. It destroys me slating the team. And I'm trying to do it constructively. I went on a mad one. I was on a fan forum throughout the games with the live chat. I was watching the game on one phone, and then I was on the live chat on the other phone. And I was saying to myself, I literally lost me shit. And I just sent a voice note, and straight away I got blocked from the community. And I sent a private message to the owner, and I was like, mate, don't have a fucking fan forum if you're gonna fucking kick people off for having an opinion. I said,
you're 100% right. You're 100% right.
I said, I pay good money to go over there. I said, I work in a job where I'm working my bollocks off, 11 quid an hour. I have a kid on the way. Well, go over with Niall for the games whenever I can. I hate these people who have all the money in the world that can fuck off to every game they want to and call us fans armchair fans, right? I love Liverpool as much as fucking the most passionate Liverpool fans out there. So this is killing me more than anyone else. But you're looking at the lack of hunger and what have you, and people being criticising the team, and other people saying you can't be saying that, you're not a real fan. See people that say if you can't support us when we're losing, don't support us when we're winning. I support Liverpool for the last 26 years. More good than bad. Do you know what I mean? Or more bad than good. You know
the fact that we come on here shows that we care so much.
We're here every week.
If we look at other clubs, that we don't mention, it's, you know what I mean? They go missing. We come on here and we face it up. There's no doubt today. Everton were the winners today. They were the better team today. They totally deserved it. Forget about the VAR decision. Forget about injuries. Forget about no fans. Forget about all that. That's all irrelevant. The big task now, as I see it with Klopp, is like
we have to stop making excuses now.
Yeah, but when you look at the Man City game, at least we kind of played. When you look at the Leicester game, at least for 70 minutes, we played a decent game and then we capitulated. But today, we didn't show up at all. And it must be
like them games had been forgotten again.
And it's like, and this result now, when you talk about results changing the game, if you like, how is he going to pick up the morale of that team now after getting, I won't say stuffed by Everton, but realistically, we got bullied today. There's no doubt about it.
But
Gomez.
no,
and
as you said, when Seamus Coleman has gone into the box and fucking dominating us by two, you're basically saying we're kind of shit. Let's be fair on that, yeah.
Yeah, well,
think,
we were, but I mean, it's just it's not even like a point blank thing that we were shit. It's just that we're disappointed that a couple of these players out there. I mean, when we talk about leaders, and I know we lost Hendo, right? Fine,
100%.
okay. There's another injury. So we've had no luck this year with injuries at all. You know what I mean? But when does Genie step up? When does the midfield step up? When does Thiago? Here's Thiago, Champions League winner, decorated footballer, has done it all in the German league, has done absolutely everything in a career you could do. When's he going to grab a few players and say, what the hell are you about? Regardless of whether he's new or not. He's supposed to be that midfield general in there that's going to spray balls around and dictate the game.
But he clearly can't do it in the Premier League.
Jump in there and say some on Thiago. He saw Liverpool the last 2 years dominating Europe, dominating England, losing the league by a point, and bettering that season when that's probably if 97 points should be winning the Premier League by about 15 or 16 points. To not win the league that season, but in my opinion, I know City won the league. I think we were the better team. To go and then absolutely murder the league last year. Europe didn't go to plan. Thiago looked at Liverpool the last 2 years and said to himself, I'll fit in there lovely there. They play great football. Couple of passes here, there and everywhere. Couple of assists. I'll be put up on his pedestal. He wasn't thinking, well, no player does, but he wasn't expecting to go into this crisis.
But do you think we were overconfident on into this season then? After winning the league by 25 points last season, do you think we were overconfident on this season? We'll fucking wave our way through it. And
I think
I said during the summer, you look at every great team that's won 3 or 4 Premier Leagues. You look at Man City, you look at Chelsea, you look at United. Not going to say Leicester because something like that will never happen again. I'm not going to say Blackburn. No, it wasn't a one-season wonder. They were better than everybody else that year. They fought for everything to the last second. I'm not going to say Blackburn. But you look at Arsenal, United, City, and Chelsea. I know Chelsea and City have had financial backing. Doesn't matter how much it is, the money is there. I said during the summer, actually before the season finished, after we'd won the league, complacency started to creep in. I know lads were like the pressure of winning the league was eased, but I towards the end of the season, before I actually finished, I said, if we don't bring in, I know we brought in Jota, I know we brought in Thiago, I said, but if we don't bring in fresh faces, you're going to have the likes of Trent, you're going to have the likes of Robbo, you're going to have the likes of Mo, Bobby, Sadio. I know Jota came in, but he's more of go in and replace Bobby Firmino and then have them 3 up front. Complacency crept into this team. I don't care what anyone says. Losing Van Dijk just kind of like that tenfold, it kind of blew up. Confidence started to drop then because decisions or the results weren't there going their way. Anything that could go wrong this season has gone wrong. I don't think anybody's, let's be real, I don't think anybody could have foreseen that this was going to happen at the start of the season. But I said at the start of the season, I said, Man City are going to come back stronger. United are going to come back stronger. Chelsea are coming on stronger now. I know they drew today, but Chelsea are going to come back stronger. The pressure has been on us as champions, and I don't think we dealt with it at all. I'm at the very start of losing Van Dijk, I was saying that's a massive loss. I said that playing Henderson and Fabinho in the centre half, it's okay short term. Long term, it's going to be a disaster. And look where we are. I don't think overconfident. I think complacent would be the words I'm looking for. But just regarding Thiago, I think if he'd have came into that team and everything was all rosy as it was the last 2 years, we'd all be sitting here talking about how brilliant he is. But the fact that we need players to step up, and as Niall said, decorate footballer. I think he won a World Cup with Spain. No, I think he might be too young for that. But all the trophies and all the accolades he's got across European football, you'd expected him to stand up and be counted for, and he's non-existent in games.
But the mark of a great footballer is when he steps up when things are not going great. It's very easy to play.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
it's very easy to play in a Liverpool side when everything's rosy and everything's flowing and the goals are banging in and the clean sheets are there and all that kind of stuff. That's not when people need to step up. When people need to step up is when you're 1-0 down or you go 1-0 up. You know what I mean? And you need to grab lads by the throat and say, calm down. We have this in hand. We're Liverpool Football Club. Let's just take this in
We
our
didn't do
stride.
that today.
And I mean, it was fairly evident in the Leicester game that game needed to be grabbed by the scruff of the neck, and no one stepped up to do it. My thing, I mean, I suppose let's bring back a bit of positivity because you know this is where I kick in and bring it all back. I think in the next couple of weeks, if we get Jota back and we get Fabinho back and we get Naby back, I do seriously think we can still push for a top 4 spot. I don't think it's out of our reach yet if we can get those guys back. I do not want to be in Thursday night football next season. I'd rather come 8th than to come 5th or 6th and get Europa League football, and that's being honest.
I mean, after the abuse we've given United this season about being in top, like getting Europa League football, I mean, like, oh, look at these lads playing to us. Like, you don't want to be in that position next season.
No, because and like, you know, we just if we're going to go into the market in the summer, I mean, we obviously have to go and I think we have to go and sort out at least players for our bench, and we have to, you know, weed out some of that bench that's there without a shadow of a doubt, because our bench is clearly not strong enough. There's no doubt.
So, Niall, on that matter, sorry for interrupting you there, but who do you get rid of on the bench? So, obviously, Origi you get rid of, but who else do you kind of ship out?
You know what? I would be still concerned about Shaqiri. I would be still concerned about Ox-Chamberlain. You know, a lot of those players, I think if they're the alternatives coming on when you need to chase a game being 1-0 down or something like that, I just don't think it's going to happen. And I think,
who do you go for?
Well, I mean that's up to the gaffer and it's up to Mike Edwards to sort that out. I mean, there's plenty of alternatives there. We sent one to Southampton and we obviously sent the wrong guy. So, like, I mean, you know,
you look at Man United, right? And when they brought Alex Telles in, everyone's probably like, oh, he's going to play left back. Luke Shaw's having the season of his life all of a sudden because someone's come in trying to take his spot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
We don't have that. You name one, other than Jota, right? Other than Jota, name one player that doesn't start every week. And Jota doesn't start every week. But
I think Jones then. Jones.
No, if he is ready, but I still think he's a good year of learning before, like today. He was the first half. He was non-existent in that game. He still has a lot of learning to do. He still has a lot in. Regarding the centre going forward, Dean asked what we do going forward. Our fixtures in March, we 4 games in 11 days.
Oh God.
We don't have a squad. If Fabinho comes back, how long is he going to last? Do you trust Naby Keita to play 10, 12, 15, 18 games between now and the end of the season? No. Jota, we never even heard the diagnosis of his injury. How's he going to last? The next 4 or 5 league games are going to be detrimental to this season. I just think we're going to have to go all in on this. We're going to have to play the 2 boys at centre back. If we get Henderson or Fabinho back, they're going to have to play in the middle. We have to shore up the middle going forward. But the next 5 or 6 games, we're really we're turning into March now at the end of next week.
Well, I think
Klopp had to go into that dressing room today and basically tell those boys, like, this is fucking ridiculous. We're losing a derby game, right? Yeah, but like, Dan, at the end of the day, you're losing a derby game 2-0 to Everton, right? At the end of the day, the second goal, we're going to disagree and agree, whatever, on that goal, right? Penalty decision. At the end of the day, he needs to go into that dressing room today and say, this is fucking ridiculous, lads. Right on into 4 or 5 games, you said, Dan, right? And they're detrimental to whether we're going to get top 4 this season. 100%.
Dan, I'm sure he's been going into that dressing room and saying it since Brighton and Burnley. He's not going in congratulating these lads on the way they've been performing. Mike, tell us this.
No, but you know what I mean.
Mike, what's your expectation for the rest of the season? How do you see this all panning out?
See, the consistency, it's a worry because like we've 8 days off now, right? We're playing next Sunday at Sheffield United away. I mean, you wouldn't even bank your house on us beating them. Like after Burnley, Brighton, I mean, they could get another 1-0. That could shoot the confidence down again. We need to get on a run. and start winning 4 or 5 games to get to about 50 points to be within contention. My expectations would be top 4, but every time we lose, we're farther and farther away. The gap is widening. I mean, West Ham, Spurs, Leicester, they're all going to keep winning. They're more consistent. They're better players, and the people you can bring in off the bench. See, that's another thing I want to say is you look at Man City's bench. They have 2 teams. You know, they have 2 11s. I mean, look at our bench. Who can you bring in that's going to change the game and win you the game? There's nobody there. And if we're running out of ideas, there's no one to turn to. We need a poacher in the box, and Jota was that poacher. He was a person that you could guarantee would score in every game until he got injured. So if he comes back in the same form, he might get his top 4. But looking at the other 3 lads, you know, you can't rely on them to get your goals. I mean, how many nil-nils has there been where we can't score, even at home or away now?
I tell you who we do need. It's riding on a top 4 finish. We have to get Champions League football. I keep picturing this. Everyone's going on about Mbappe. Let's be realistic. That's never going to happen. No player's going to come in and take that.
Yeah, it's too expensive. They're not going to pay for him.
Do you know who? And I dreamed about this since the start of the season. I really thought we should have signed him at the start of the season. Mo Salah out on the left or the right. Salah and Mane left or right, and your man Haaland through the middle. We would.
But for less than 100 million, I think you're going to get him though.
If we don't get top 4, players like that aren't coming to Liverpool. It's as simple as that, and it's a case of one and done. That's all the case of be one and done. I don't. If we don't get Champions League football this season, I think it'll be a long time before we do again.
I mean, I personally think we could win the Champions League this season, genuinely. And I know some of the lads are disagreeing on this, right? But I think that I played against Leipzig on Tuesday night with the mistakes or whatever. I think we played well, right? Obviously, against Everton, we didn't play. I think we can win Champions League this season. Truth's got to do if you play well enough in it. I think that's the only way we get Champions League football next season.
I don't think we will, because I think if you look at most of the teams that are left in the Champions League, I mean, no disrespect to Leipzig, but they're one of the worst teams left in it, you know what I mean? And if we're not going out and putting them to the sword, and the one thing I would say as well, even though we're 2-0 up against Leipzig or whatever it is, I wouldn't be banking on us. I wouldn't be banking on us going through there either, because if you see what we did against Leicester, if they came and they got an early goal, we could easily capitulate again. I'm praying for that second leg that we do have Jota and Fabinho back, and that we get Motor in again. And I know Dean's concerns, like if they do come back in, are they going to be ready and stuff like that? But I mean, if Naby Keita goes back into that side again and he gets injured again, then that's really it, isn't it? I mean,
we can't be sold in the summer.
We can't be dwelling on it anymore.
Do you reckon, Dean? Truthfully, God, do you reckon he's going to get sold in the summer?
He can't carry, lads.
Can I just be honest with you? In the summer, right? If Naby Keita comes back into this team and can't it breaks down an injury again, you're going to have to sell him on the cheap. Why waste your time? You can't waste your fucking time. It's a dog. Football nowadays is a dog world, and if another club has bigger teeth than you're losing the battle.
But then who do you bring in then? Who do you genuinely bring in? Because you're looking at the bench, right? And truth is God. But there's not, Dean, because we're not willing to spend the money. We're not willing to spend the money.
Yeah, but we are going to spend the money this summer.
Are we though?
I wouldn't be surprised. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we do like what we did with Coutinho, and one of our front 3 is sold for big money, and that money is then spent.
Mane or fucking Firmino.
Well, it wouldn't be Firmino, but in terms of Mane or Salah, I wouldn't be like Klopp. There's no doubt about it. Don't be taken aback by Klopp at all. This guy with Mike Edwards can be ruthless if he wants to be, and he's looking there now, and he sees if he wants to stay up there challenging the Cities and the Uniteds and Chelseas of this world, money has to be spent. Changes have to be made. Teams have to evolve.
He's told them as well.
Yeah,
but no, we discussed this on the Monday Matchup about business and putting your hand in your pocket, right? And they're not willing to do it at the moment. Obviously, given the January transfer window where obviously there wasn't many players available, but come June, I was like, will they put their money in the pocket?
No,
will somebody sell it?
But if you sell, for instance, say for argument's sake, a Sadio Mane, and you get 120 to 150 million for him, or whatever it is his valuation.
But are you getting that after the season that he's had?
But there's no doubt that the quality isn't. Yeah, but the quality isn't gone. I mean, you have to remember as well, these boys, they're only as good as the supply into them as well. You know what I mean? Like when you look at the likes of Mane and Salah, you know, they're not jumping on the pitch and beating 11 players on their own and scoring. You know what I mean? Like you know, you have to allow that. You don't suddenly become bad players. Look, we spoke about Mane and COVID. We spoke about injuries. We spoke about the team disjointed. I already spoke about Thiago not playing those penetrating balls through the channels to play these guys in and all. So, the whole team is misfiring. Don't take for a minute that Sadio Mane is not the player that he was. He's 100% the player that he was. And any team will open up the checkbook to buy him if he became available. And that may give us the opportunity to then bring in, potentially, if we have Champions League football, maybe a Haaland and another player maybe to shake it up again the same way we did when we sold Coutinho and we bought Virgil and we bought Alisson and we became world beaters. So this can happen again. Klopp has it in him. We have to keep a little bit of positivity, but we have to call it as we see it as well. And that's not us being negative. That's us taking a reality check of where Liverpool is at the moment. I personally believe, as I said already, I think we can get top 4 if we can get those players back, get a bit of energy back in the team with new players coming back, give the team a bit of a lift. As Dean says, defenders do defending and midfielders do midfield work. And we let these players do what they're supposed to do, not try and crowbar them into positions that they're not familiar with or that they can't do the job. There's no doubt we have struggled. At times we have looked really good. But there's no doubt about it that the confidence is low at the moment and the morale is going to be in the gutter now. And he needs to pick that morale up very quickly because, as Mike already alluded to, I wouldn't be even confident going into a Sheffield United game. And right on the back of that, we have Leipzig Part 2. And that's going to be a massive game. So I'm hoping those boys back with it. And Chelsea. Yeah.
You have to think, Sheffield United, we've got to keep it short. Sheffield United, look, they're gone down. They're losing 1-0 tonight against Fulham. They're relegated. But you've Chelsea. I thought it was Sheffield United. After today, I thought it was Sheffield United and Fulham. I didn't realise we Chelsea in the middle of them until I seen the fixtures today. Sheffield United away isn't going to be easy. The way we're playing, if they were to nick a draw off us, Chelsea would be smelling blood. You know what I mean? Look at Chelsea's bench as well. Chelsea mightn't be having a great season, but coming into the business side of things, they just need to keep getting the results. I know they dropped 2 points today, but they'll be looking at the game against us. If we drop points against Sheffield United, which it wouldn't be surprising at the moment, Chelsea can get it 3 points off us. They start pulling away from us. You know what I mean? Everton, if we drop points in our next 2 games and Everton win a game, they go ahead of us. Aston Villa have 2 games in hand. It's coming into that time of the season now where I just really hope that Klopp, I understand he's after losing his mother. It's obviously taking a bit of the edge off him. I feel sorry for him personally, but he needs to be think about this and say, right, lads, it's siege mentality. Backs against the wall. Boys, Nat Phillips come back on Nat Phillips and Davis, or Davison come back. Look, lads, I'm putting all my trust to having you. I have to put one of the boys into the middle of the park. We need to just head down, blinkers on, siege mentality, backs against the wall. It's us against fucking everyone. Let's fucking have it. We have to do something. Can't just fade out the way it is.
When you look at today, Dan, sorry, but you do realistically think you put Nat Phillips back in there instead of Hendo. Put Hendo back in the midfield. Hopefully it's only a short-term thing where he's only out for a couple of weeks. You put Nat Phillips in there, you put Hendo back into midfield, and we get back that rhythm again.
Fabinho will be back.
Nat Phillips isn't a bad player, but with Davis as well, every world-class centre back in football was a nobody at some stage.
Yeah.
What you brought him? Klopp obviously had to say yes or no and bringing him in. Now, Sheffield United, I think in midweek or whatever, you have to just throw him in. If he's not going to go with Phillips, because let's be real, we couldn't even sell him in last summer. We couldn't get rid of him last summer. You have to put Davis in at some stage, right?
And do you take Kabak out of him, or
no,
do you put?
If he's not going to trust, there's no Henderson, there's no Fabinho. He hasn't got one of them to play at the centre half. So if he's not going to trust Nat Phillips, you brought in 2 centre halves in January, play the 2 fucking centre halves. Right, we can't no more fannying about. We have to fucking go for it now, because before we know it, there'll be 3 or 4 games left, and
we'll be top 4.
We'll be way off.
you drop any points, go into 3 or 4 games left, and it'd be a case of Liverpool drop points today and Chelsea win, top 4 is gone.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is a run of 2 or 3 or 4 games, and we'd be back in amongst the big time. You know what I mean? 100%. But it's just a case of knuckling down. I think what the lads need to do now is they need to park the bus of where we are now, take stock of where we are now, understand what happened, to go right. Our season starts from Sheffield United. Take it game by game, push it out there, put players back into positions, and let's have a go. And even if we fail, like if we don't change things, we're going to fail anyway. So we may as well have a go, and let's go down fighting and try and, let's try and defend ourselves as champions as best we can, and not become that laughing stock. Like Paul Merson the other day turned around and said, if any other of the top teams had to face what Liverpool have faced this season, they'd be all down in 10th, 12th, or 14th. He said, so he says they shouldn't look on it as bad as they think they're looking on it, because it has been a miracle to do what we've done at times, but it's just the disappointment. Like, as again I say, there's no problem losing a game. Teams lose games. It's the disappointment in the way that you lose the game.
Look, I look at that as like City last season, right? No, sorry again, I apologize for interrupting you, right? But I look at City last season where it was like you were 25 points off the top, right? We're always going to have this season, obviously not as bad as we hoped this season. Right? We obviously thought we'd go out in there and hopefully defend the title this season. We're always going to have this season eventually after 2 or 3 seasons of constant being on top, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we obviously didn't think we'd be in 6. What are we, 7 now, is it? 7th position we're in at the moment after Everton beat us
6. No, Everton didn't. They're still behind us on goal difference.
40 and 40.
Yeah.
So 6th position, right? Obviously, we didn't realise last season going into it, after beating City by so much, we'd be in this position today. It's not great. Hopefully, come next weekend against Sheffield, we'll come out and we'll have a better performance. I don't know. I don't trust the squad at this point, to be honest. I don't know the rest of the lads, young players. I don't know whether the rest of the lads don't trust them, but I think, as Dean said, we do need to put Davis in there. We need to put Nat Phillips in. We need to make changes. We need to have Firmino and Henderson back in the midfield. Hopefully, Gini comes back into himself as well. Had a relatively good game today, in my opinion. You'd hope next week against Sheffield Wednesday you go out and bang 2 or 3 in. I just don't know anymore.
Well, I can't wait for that Sheffield United game to come around, because I'm staring into a week now of Everton fans just torturing me. So
yeah, sure. The Monday matchup.
I know,
can't wait for that.
I know, yeah. But as
big response next Sunday, just go out and go for it and just prove ourselves to be champions again and start scoring goals. This Sheffield United game could be a one to get the confidence back in the team and get the front three back scoring as well.
Craig, give me the last word there, Craig. Come on.
Yeah,
give me the positivity.
Until it's mathematically impossible, I'm always going to believe that we're going to get top 4, and there's no way that's going to change. I am realistic at the same time. Look, we're not ripping the lads there, but we're being critical, but we're being reality as well. You know what I mean? Something does have to change. And if, as Dean said as well, if you can't see it, now is the time to do it. Who's to say we go to Sheffield, right? We get a set piece. Wouldn't you like to have Phillips in there? Wouldn't you like to have Davis in there? Old school big centre forwards in there for a ball in. There's nobody better. You might win it, you might score. There's no harm. We need, as Dean said, we need centre backs and centre backs. Get Jota back, take Firmino out, give him a break. And if we get a bit of a run going with the players we get back as well, we're going to have more about us. When we have the jigsaw starting to fit back together again, people won't be looking forward to playing us like they have been. And I can guarantee you that.
Dane Fitz, give me the last word. Come on, give me something to hang on to here.
Just a smile on my face here, right? A little joke before we go. Might get a little giggle out of the 5 of us, right? Apparently, there's an open bus tour, an open bus top parade through Liverpool tomorrow, because that's the first thing Everton have done of significance since 1995.
Yes, yes, lad.
Pardon the French.
The address on the address on the club stores is wrong at the moment, isn't it? It normally says Liverpool 1 and Everton 2.
Hey.
they got it slightly wrong, yeah.
Positivity wise, look, I'm not going to say we're not going to get top 4, so we're going to try and stay a bit positive and a bit optimistic on it, as hard as it is to see any optimism. And stuff like that before going forward. But look, I'm gonna say we'll get top 4. And the way things have gone, we can only be happy with getting top 4. If it's 4 place and we have to go through the qualifiers, but we just think a team of air quality hasn't gone away overnight, and I just think a club of air size has to be in the Champions League. And I think that kind of mentality of, if we can just think that every game is a cup final between now and the end of the season, that we still have it in us. It's horrible to see how bad we are doing, but I'm going to say we will get top 4, and hopefully we'll be back here in the last day of the season singing and dancing.
Brilliant. Well,
touch wood.
As always, lads, thanks for coming on, as always. It's never easy when these things happen. We are the Upper Tier, brought to you by the Dynamo Podcast Network on YouTube. So head over there and smash that subscribe button and bell notification. We're also on Spotify, Anchor, Podbean if you prefer the audio version. If you don't want to look at all our beautiful faces, that's fine. The show today is sponsored by Hogan Elite Trophy Hire. So head over there and they will sort you out if you have any silverware needs for any special occasions. They have the full array of football trophies over there available. We're also sponsored by Ella's Toys and Collectibles, where you can avail of 10% off. Head over to their Facebook page for all your Funko Pops and collectible toys, and Dan will sort you out there. Until next time, my red men, appreciate it and take care.